Hi, I'm Harvey Briggs, the editor and publisher of Rides and Drives, and today I'm in San Diego, California, where it's always 72 and sunny. But be that as it may, I'm driving the all-new Lexus RZ 450e. This is the first battery electric vehicle from Toyota's luxury brand, and it competes with vehicles like the BMW iX, Jaguar I-Pace, Volvo C40 Recharge, and a number of other vehicles. How does it stack up? Let's go for a drive and find out. So here we are in the 2023 Lexus RZ 450e, the first battery electric vehicle from Lexus, and I'm with
Jill Ciminillo!
Yay, Jill!
Hello.
From pickuptruckandSUVtalk.com.
Yes.
They do a lot of work with SUVs and obviously pickup trucks. And Jill is also a kick-ass off-road driver as well, having completed last year's Rebelle Rally.
Yes.
In the Hyundai Santa Cruz, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. I want to hear about that.
You want to hear about the Rebelle?
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say completely kick-ass, because I did manage to get us stuck in sand at least twice.
It happens.
Like buried in sand. But no, I mean, Rebelle is really cool. If you've never heard of it, you've gotta Google Rebelle Rally. It's a women's-only navigational challenge. Not a race. They don't like to call it a race, but basically they take your phone away, they disable the GPS in your vehicle, they give you a map, you buy a compass. They don't give you the compass, you have to buy the compass, and you have to use old-fashioned tools to get yourself from point A to point B. So last year we started up near Lake Tahoe and ended up in the Glamis area down near the southern border of the United States, and so it was like 1,500, 2,000 miles of driving without GPS. And they give you longitude and latitude points every day. You plot them on a map, and then you have to figure out how to get to each of those points. You get points based on arriving at these checkpoints, these longitude and latitude points, and sometimes there's a flag, sometimes there's a post sticking up out of the ground to let you know you have arrived. Sometimes there is nothing, and you just have to, do the Hail Mary and say, I think I'm in the right location, I'm going to click my transponder and see if I get the points or not. And so you can get misses, you can lose points if you're not in the right place, but in all, it's just really good fun. It's, obviously, lots of team bonding with you and your partner as you're driving the vehicle, and you meet a lot of amazing women doing this. I'm getting ready to head into Rebelle training tonight. Actually, I'm doing some more training in Glamis down the sand dunes.
So you're going to do it again?
I'm doing it again!
Awesome.
I am that kind of crazy.
So this is not a vehicle you would take on the Rebelle Rally, is it?
Well, actually, au contraire, mon frère, I think you could do this on the Rebelle Rally. The Volkswagen 94 did it.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. So, and Rivian did it as well.
Rivian's a little bit more rugged off-road.
But it's a battery electric vehicle, and you don't think about battery electric vehicles as off-road capable typically.
No, you don't.
I don't.
You don't. But it could be. And I think that this could do it. Lexus?
You'd be pretty comfortable with it.
I'm just saying.
So there you go. So let's talk about this vehicle a little bit. It's based on Toyota's TNGA platform. ETNG.
So that's both of our guests. So yes, I think we got to be right there.
And this is the same platform that the BZ4X, whatever crazy name that is, and the Subaru Solterra are built on. However, Lexus uses very different power systems, apparently. They have combined, this is all-wheel drive, so you have a motor front and rear, but you also have a separate controller for each motor here, where in the other ones you only have one for both. Right. And that allows this vehicle, I think, to be a little more adaptable, a little more controllable, certainly more powerful.
No, there's definitely more power in this vehicle. I think they said it's between 308 and 313 horsepower, depending on whether you use Imperial or metric conversions, and I was just like, womp, 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 Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yeah.
So just know it's between 308 and 313 horsepower, and this thing, this has all of the benefits of, I think, an electric vehicle. So you get into a vehicle like the ID4 and you like stomp on the gas pedal and you're like,
yeah, but this one, you stomp on the gas pedal and you go,
yep, I'm like, woo,
yeah,
there you go.
And you get that torque at any speed, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and frankly, to me, that's the benefit of having an electric vehicle. And one of the interesting things, we just spent a long time talking to the engineer and one of the product specialists about this. This does not have one-pedal driving.
Right, they have adjustable regen mode here with these paddles on shifts, but they don't shift gears, they actually adjust the amount of regen. So you can set it for normal, or, no regen at all, and now it's just coasting, right? But if I hit this button here, I've got one level, level 2, and this feels, at level 2, it really feels like a natural engine braking. So like when I lift off the throttle here, I get a slight slowdown on the freeway, but then if you go all the way to the top level, it almost feels like you step on the brake a little bit. So it allows you though to set it where you like it. Where a lot of vehicles, it's like you've got either no regen or all the regen.
Yeah, they don't give you a choice, and so that's nice. I mean, you can't ever have like the straight, strict one-pedal driving. That's not an option they've given you here, but you can get pretty darn close with the level 4 regen option.
Right, and that was also interesting talking to them about regen, and we're going to have to do some research on this, of course.
As I like to say, GTS.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what that is, Google that shit.
But the thing that's interesting is I've seen some headlines and stories lately about how doing heavier regen isn't always more efficient.
Yeah.
Because it's like they say, well, if you slow down over a longer period of time, you'll actually put more back in the battery, and depending on the state of charge of the battery and all this other what if.
So many moving parts.
Exactly. Let's just say there's no simple answer to it, but there are ways to make the vehicle as efficient as possible depending on your driving preferences.
Yeah, and I mean, the one thing that the engineer said that stuck with me that I am definitely going to have to research and look into is the idea that when you are coasting, and you alluded to this, you are drawing more power back over a longer period of time. But when you use the brakes, and the one-pedal driving does at the end use the brakes, then you lose power as soon as you start applying the brakes. And so it's much better to have that long, pull rather than the 20 feet of the braking, which is expelling the power.
Yeah, so it's interesting. On the whole, I can't imagine that while regen does give you some benefit over, especially if you're driving in the city, but if you're cruising on the highway like we just were, very little benefit to having regenerative power on it. So let's talk a little bit about how this thing drives beyond those kind of esoteric things. Steering feel, very natural. The car itself feels very much like a Lexus. It's luxurious. The batteries, the weight of the batteries really helps, I think, the ride because, it's smooth.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. It's very smooth. It's very quiet. The materials, so we are in the top tier luxury trim right now, and so you'll maybe notice behind me, maybe not behind you because you kind of take up the whole space, but you've got some like ultra suede going on. And whether you're in the luxury trim or the premium trim, I think the interesting thing that Lexus has done is they are trying to use more sustainable materials. So there is no leather.
Right, this is a vegan interior.
It's vegan, and they don't really have a lot of wood accents either.
No, it's all made of materials that, as you said, are sustainable, recyclable, all of that stuff. So this ultra suede is a synthetic suede fabric. Feels great, and the other trim uses Nulux, which is Lexus's faux leather, and it's a really good facsimile of leather.
It is.
And we were commenting about that as we were driving earlier, that it really doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel plasticky. And in fact, that has nice perforation in it too, so you also get heated and cooled seats in that as well. Yeah, there are two trims in this. You have the premium and the luxury. Big difference between premium and luxury is you get 18-inch wheels on the premium, 20-inch on the luxury, although you can option 20-inch wheels. But if you option 20-inch wheels, your range goes from 220 miles down to 180 miles. Yeah, and that's an issue as well.
Yeah.
This is a 71 kilowatt-hour battery. You're driving two motors, so you only get 220 miles of EPA estimated range on this, which frankly is kind of low in the category.
It's tough.
Yeah, and when you live in the Midwest where we do, where charging stations aren't very prevalent, where distances between cities can be far. Like if I had to drive this car from Chicago to my home in Madison in the winter, I would be nervous about it because that range dissipates pretty quickly. Like if you're running this and it's 20 degrees outside, you lose between 30 and 40% of the overall range of the vehicle.
Yeah, no, and I it's funny because I brought this up to the RZ product specialists, and I was like, between Chicago and Indianapolis, it's like 196 miles, and I'm like looking at the spec sheet right here, and this literally says EPA estimated all-electric range up to 196 miles. I'm like, nope, I would not do that. I mean, not in the summer, not in the winter, not even a little bit. And the only charging station between Chicago and Indianapolis right now is in Lafayette, Indiana, which is like 167 miles. I don't even think I would feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't, certainly, because I've been in a vehicle where I have run out of charge. It's not fun. It was a motorcycle too, which is another story. But driving an electric vehicle is a little bit like flying a private plane. You have to know where the airports are and how much fuel you have in the tank before you take off.
Yep.
And so you really have to plan your trips if you're going beyond your home market. Now again, most people who buy a car like this will have a level 2 charger at home. Don't buy an electric vehicle if you cannot install a level 2 charger.
I agree.
Right now, the infrastructure isn't in place to give you what you want. So get your vehicle, get a level 2 charger, so all your around town charging is covered at home.
Yeah,
right?
But here's the irony of the situation. I think electric vehicles are uniquely suited to an urban environment like Chicago, but of the, I don't know how many residents there are in Chicago, I would say there's probably 50 to 70% of the people who rent.
Right.
Maybe I'm a little bit high on that GTS. But the point is, like in an urban environment, you have a high percentage of people who are renting who, like, while they would benefit from having an EV, they can't actually own an EV because they couldn't install the charger at their home.
Yeah, my son and his wife wanted to look at an EV. They decided, because they live in a condo and the condo association is not putting chargers in, that they couldn't get one, so they ended up with a hybrid.
Yeah.
So, fine. And there's no one right answer, and this will be the right answer for somebody.
Yes.
You know, the person who buys this car isn't taking frequent road trips, although Lexus does have a program to deal with that. They talked about, what is it called?
Lexus Reserve?
Reserve,
yeah.
That's right. So if you buy an RZ, then you automatically get 30 days of basically a swap. So you can go to your dealer and say, hey, I'm going to take a road trip. Can you give me an RX for, 3 days, 5 days, whatever, and you give them your RZ, they give you the RX, and you drive it. It doesn't cost you anything, and that's a free program to anyone who buys one of these vehicles, and that's a good stopgap, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's only a 3-year program. So, I mean, I think after that, maybe subscription fees would apply, and they haven't gotten there yet because first electric vehicle. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting solution. And I think we've seen, I feel like maybe Mazda.
BMW did it.
And
with the
BMW.
i3.
So some other automakers have done this, and I honestly haven't done the research to see like how that's gone for them. But it's an option, and it's.
Yeah, it's what you do when the solution doesn't work for everybody, and so that's fine. But this is, if someone came to me and said, "Oh, I'm looking at the RZ," I would say, "Okay, again, you live in an urban environment or tight suburban. I think East Coast, Southern California make a ton of sense. You don't take a lot of road trips. Maybe you have a second car that you can road trip in. That's fine. But if you're counting on this being your only vehicle, there will be challenges."
Yeah, and it's funny because so my husband and I, we own a GTI, and next week I need to drive to my parents' house, and I was supposed to be getting an electric vehicle that I won't name, but the range is about 220 miles, and I actually canceled out of it because I need to go to my parents' house. I'm like, I'll just take our car instead.
Right.
And I want to, and it's no point in me having a vehicle that I'm not gonna
be able to drive and review. Yeah. Right. So what do we like about this?
Okay, for a petite person, I really like the driving position.
For a tall person, I like the driving position.
Yeah, I mean, the A-pillar is always a problem for me, and I really didn't find it to be too much of a difficulty or a problem in this because it's kind of thin. So I like the driving position, really good view out the front and over the hood. The hood height is very low on this for an SUV, and it's short, so you're not looking over the hood. I actually can't even see the hood here. Yeah, and the seat comfort is really good, and it's funny because I didn't notice if there was any lumbar support that you could add or subtract. But I don't feel like I need it. Like, these seats are really bolstered and cushioned in exactly the right proportions. I love the radiant heating.
Yes.
So that's something that's new on this vehicle that they haven't done before, and I don't know that I've seen this on other vehicles before, but it's essentially, there's like a mesh webbing underneath the dash, so there's no glove box, and the heat kind of pools out of that and then goes towards your feet.
Yeah, think about the constant heat that a radiator provides versus a furnace that blows air out occasionally when you need to warm it up. So you feel more enveloped by the heat, and frankly, I was really shocked and pleasantly surprised by that, and I'm like, maybe other automakers ought to look at that as an option. My question is that more efficient than a traditional heating system? I don't know, but it certainly, it makes the car very comfortable.
Yeah, and I mean, as somebody who is perpetually cold, really appreciate that. I like the radiant heating. And so, I mean, what else do I like? I mean, yeah, the textures are good. I like the design.
What do they call it? The spindle body?
Spindle body.
Yeah. So it's a decent look. Certainly keeps within the family. There's a lot to like about it if you like Lexus. We've talked about what we don't like, which is the range on this. I think is the biggest drawback for this vehicle in this class, especially when you look at like what the iX has and some other, some of the other premium SUVs in this category.
Yeah, and other than the range, I'll be honest with you, I will probably need to spend a little more time with this vehicle to find things that I don't like, because so far, thumbs up! Yeah,
the infotainment system, no more trackpad. I do like the interface for the gear shift mechanism here. This rotary dial is very easy to use. All in all, I think a really nice effort by Lexus for a first effort. It's just too bad this effort wasn't 2 or 3 years ago.
That is fair.
So.
Yep.
Thanks, Jill. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, thank you.
We'll do it again sometime. So that's the 2023 Lexus RZ 450. Tell us what you think in the comments. For more information, check out ridesanddrives.com and make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. For Rides and Drives, I'm Harvey Briggs, and I'll see you somewhere down the road.